Short and Deadly making a rich. Oh my god, them spears. They're just poking out so hard from left and right. But Short and Deadly making a return versus Sensei as. We got actually a lot of fewer words. We got ourselves Jash. We got ourselves Conan. Blood Dagger in the back as Outlaw. Hold on a second. Yo, no way. Chicago. We got ourselves Airless, also Outlaw. Roken is Outlaw. Okay, dude. Quartz on the Paladin. Nefex to the Feral. Sensei getting opened up on by the looks of it. Does go for the Summer to Short and Deadly as the banner comes down. Going to be a charge by the Warrior, but it's going to be poured by the Monk in order to get himself to safety. Short just going to cut his losses back up. Monk does pour back in. Quick Fears as Zuen joins in for Short. Might just be buying himself a little bit of time until he can go for like a big go into Sensei. Try to see if he can slam him down with full go. I think he's just gonna, just back it away while he's got offensives. There's gonna be a leg sweep off of that trinket to follow him. It's Short, Deadly. Not a great spot. Just going for Stormbolt. May decide to go big defensive. Does going for a bit of enraged regeneration. Going for an aggressive stance right now, but might still be in a bit of trouble. Does he maybe turn this around onto Sensei? Did use a stun earlier. May decide to go for a rallying cry. There goes a rallying cry. Got himself a reflect and everything available just to get himself more defense. But no, that's just so much damage out of the Monkey. Doesn't even need to get him super low. He just needs to get him low enough in order to be able to hopefully slam him down with just a little bit of extra burst damage. Jazz going to be up next. Is playing into a spear build. Does end up... Huh? You are tethered by the spear, but he just ignored it. He was like, you know what? I don't feel like it. Wait, did you like Tiger's Lost as he speared it? Is that what happened? Maybe waiting for cooldowns like Zuen joining in. No Lexi for a bit though. So for Josh, maybe an opportunity to maybe just get some damage on the Sensei without being really interrupted. Sensei just trying to see if he can focus on the offensive. Stormbolt to follow. Does Josh have anything to follow up though? Does have himself a rampage. That's going to be Fist of Fury out by the Monk. No way for him to break past the Fist for just a second. Karma to follow. Josh is in a bad spot. Cannot really get super offensive. What does he do in this situation? Trying to see if he can spear Sensei. At least keep it at bay. That spear does end up building up into the Karma damage either way though. But for Josh, at least he's able to lock down Sensei in place. Does go for a big defensive and is going to go for a final jab at the end, taking him out. With Chicago going to be up next, trying to give Sensei, I think, a little bit of an auto duel. Does have the Ghost Raptors back up and running, could summon him back in. Karma to follow, has to play defensive, but not a lot of health available. Sensei got himself a lot of damage out of left field. Chicago just trying to see if he can maybe outrun this Karma, outrun Zuen, just outrun the Monk. Does have wall coming back up and available. That's really about all you have. Trying to get a bit of Maelstrom off of the Raptors as well as off of Zuen. That's about all you could really do in this situation. Sensei just playing it, just trying to win this duel as fast as possible into a knockup at Chicago. Maybe can wall this, can at least wall this damage. Does not go for the walls. The Lexi comes out, does get kicked pretty hard at the end there. Sensei is going for a full sweep if possible. Conan charging from around the corner. Stormbolt. Sensei does end up porting, but the bolt is holding midair. Could go for yet another port. Does Conan have a way to reconnect right now? Charges him. Does he have himself anything here? He got himself defensives. So if he can time defenses properly, he should be able to at least nullify a lot of the go from Sensei. Dampening isn't super high either, so maybe you could see some sort of recovery here. Sensei does have himself fools, not for Serenity, but Stormbirth of Fire, Karma to follow, maybe Conan going in for a bit of self-heal. Not in a great spot health-wise, trying to go for a bit of rally, does go for a bit of healing, needs to go for Bloodthirst. Disarm, kind of limited what he can do. Wait until, oh no, didn't even get a chance. The Disarm was waited there for Sensei. Knew that he needed to pressure the Warrior until Enraged Regen. 4? Did somebody leave? Alright, we gotta go again, because a lot of the team Sensei just didn't even get a chance to play. Gonna be Diabolicus first up versus Nagataro waiting to go. He's gonna go for Invis, skulking around. On that team we have Airless just being a madman playing Outlaw. Who does that? Kevin on that team, Roken in the back as well. Sensei as Diabolicus waiting patiently. Is there Succubus nearby? Or do they sacrifice it now? Literally, Nagataro is just right behind him, literally waiting. He's got so much free time. But then Invis, look at that. Oh my goodness. Is going to open up with a big breath. Is there a Succubus anywhere? Did you hide that Succubus? No, I don't think you... Wait, you do have a Succubus. I was going to say, do you hide it somewhere in a good spot? It is going to be Succubus. You see off the bat as Nagataro get a hit with a Soul Fire. Does have Ultra Time, so should be mostly okay, I think. Might be. Probably. Combustion was used, but Combustion was shut down by the Succubus with an Infernal Slam. And on the other side of the mage is trying to get himself a bit of damage. Doesn't have blinking past Diabolicus, or if not blinking, I think doing the reversal blink. Big K is about to follow. Nagataro maybe in a bit of trouble. Does go for the Iceberg before the Cauterize comes out. It is a lot of damage getting hit by the Destruction Warlock. That is a big Infernal running into as well. So it's a lot for the mage to deal with. Does go for an interrupt onto Diabolicals with a Succubus stopping you immediately. Unless you can stun CC or line aside the Succubus, there's only so much you can do. Sending a couple Pyros over to Diabolicals. They got himself a Reflect. Actually, he's in a good spot. Just chucking out Casbolt. So they can maybe over for Nagatara unless you can get him maybe a shield. Definitely needs some kind of defense right now. Does have ult time last second. Maybe that'll give you a little survivability. Wait a second, Cauterize. But oh no, the Cauterize is burning down through you. I feel like the only way to do this. Oh, that's rough. I feel like the only way you could do that is that Cauterize proc and then ult time as Cauterize gets to super low and then at least regain some health back. That's a rough one. Blood Dagger immediately getting hit with a Succubus. You see, as he opens up with Diabolicus, going to be immediate board out of Dia. Does not really have that much mobility to follow. It is going to be full death because Rogue goes in for a full Cloak of Shadows. Casbolt does still connect either way though. Dia does get plenty of defense. Dagger not really looking all that healthy right now. So far it could be the end of him. Actually looks like does go in for the Vanish Kidney Shot Trinket. And just going to be Dia still trying to go for Soulfire. Wait, is this enough? Wait a second, no. Honestly, I thought it was the court. The ball was in Rogue's court that entire time, but apparently it isn't. Is it Airless next? Evasion immediately for Airless as well as Blood Dagger. This is where Airless needs to get comp points. Does go for the killing spree. Does give him a bit of a DR actually. Like a bit of a combat DR. Trinket out of Airless. Got himself full stun into Blood Dagger. Trying to go for bitter damage. Cheap shot. Sepsis to follow. Quite a bit of damage on the Blood Dagger. Ambushes piercing past defenses. Airless does end up catching him together with Sepsis and ambushes. Actually gives us quite a bit of damage either way though. Chicago back in that enhancement. Gonna be up next as Airless still has a couple bleeds on him, and Chicago's giving him as much of an opportunity as possible, just letting him catch up on a little bit of health. The pets are in. Does go in for the knockup. I don't know if he meant to have a knock or a knockback effect. It is going to be Vanish for Airless, or rather, yeah, it is going to be Vanish. Cheap shot to follow. Does get himself at least a little bit of that fine weakness onto Chicago. Pets are going to be fading away. Actually, now they're going to be fading away, but Airless does go in for a blind root around the corner. Does have a shadow mode. Is there dots on him? Does get caught out in the open either way though. Airless, do you have a cheat death? I don't think you do. Sepsis onto Chicago. Pistols to follow. Doesn't really have a lot of defenses to work with. Maybe in a bit of trouble. Unless maybe another kidney shot. Sunder by Chicago. There's only so much you can do. Unless you had a cheat death in that moment, there's only so much you could really do in that situation. Rokan going to be up next. Shadow Strike on Chicago. Immediate wall as a shaman. Trying to see if he can tank up. Trinket, as expected, big secret technique out of the Rogue. Does end up knocking him up in there, but they don't really go super far. Does someone to Chicago. Does go for the burrow. Maybe he can go for a big go into Rokan. Big zap right after. Cloak of Shadows to follow. Can still maybe go with those wind strikes through the defense of the Rogue. Does have himself a big Guardian. Maybe the Guardian will be enough in order to give him a bit more survivability. Try to see if he can play super aggressive here. Next that could be deadly. Sepsis to follow. Chicago cannot really get rid of the Sepsis. That's going to be stunned to Rogue, but it's still gonna get him. Conan charging out with a Stormbolt, but it's gonna be a little bit DR. Does end up leaping past the Rogue and just gonna keep slicing right through him. That big Odin's Fury does catch him, trying to go for a bit of a shockwave. Doesn't quite connect. The fear does get the Rogue trembling and plays the kidney shot reversal onto Conan with a secret technique right after. Rogue can kind of limited on the defenses he could really use. Has himself advantage in case he really needs to escape. Rogue does go in for the Vanish to try to see if he can soothe the bleeds as best as possible. Conan does not really let him get out of combat all that easily, keeps whirlwinding him out to open as best as he can. Get another kidney shot. Flagellation. Rogue can get a lot of damage opportunity with a Sepsis. Lots of damage. Nature and Shadow both going right through Conan. Trying to see if he can get himself a little bit of survivability. Shockwave does not quite connect. Disarm. Not much you can really do in this situation. Got himself rallying crowd, but I think Rokan may just have him. Conan charging in, but an Eviscerate is going to greet him straight to his face. Was so skillful. Going to be up next. Slow onto Rokan. Dropping in more pets. That's going to be Felguard and everything chasing after the Rogue. Eventually, I think the Felguard, and if you can get more pets over there, like Demon Dogs and everything, that probably would just take down Rokan by itself. Does get himself the Demon Doggos, an instant cast proc either way. As Rokan does go for the Cloak of Shadows, trying to see if he can get himself a go for skillful, but I think it's just a matter of time until he goes down. Does get a Vanish back up and running. That's going to give him some cooldown reduction, as well as going to soothe his wounds a little bit here. Rips right through the Dark Pack really quickly. Fellor joins in, but that thing is just not even getting a single swing onto the Rogue. Was that just a natted dodge? Might have been just a natty dodge. Got himself an angle versus the Warlock where he's just out of Fellord's reach, but not quite in there. Does walk into the Fellord, trinkets out. I don't even know if the Fellord actually still got a single good swing. It's going to be all the pets, Valfian, as well as the main pet Felguard joining in. Rokan barely any health available. Does he have a go? Demon Dog is charged in. It's only a matter of time until the Rogue is done for the count. No cheat death does proc in. I was going to say maybe no cheat death. Sepsis onto the Warlock. I think the Warlock Do you die to sepsis? No, you got plenty, just a little bit of recovery, but not enough to withstand a full-on warrior. I don't think. Does get him so pretty big board in the corner right now. Does have a dark pack last second. May just be able to use it. Kevin does get axe toss. There's just nothing that can slow him at this point. Big bleeds. Does go for the big execute. Not much you can really do in that situation. The Outlaw Rogue play. Interesting. Roken does end up picking up 2. Well, he's picked up a couple of kills there.